What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Tottenham have lost 2-0 to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in a really, really lacklustre, poor performance following up the North London derby defeat in really poor fashion. Ashmatic from Spurs Kings TV was with me to watch all the action. Goals from Nicholas Jackson and Travis Chalobah, both from set pieces, were Tottenham's undoing yet again in this one. But again, a lack of effectiveness in the final third, and openness at the back. That's 3 losses in the trot now for Ange Postecoglou. Really lacklustre, really disappointing display from Spurs. What do you make out of it today, Ash? No, Ange.
Call me Ange.
Call you Ange.
How dare you? I'm joking. After that performance, I call it bottle at the bridge. If ever you thought we could make top 4, this is the reason why we are not ready for Champions League. That front 3 has no impotence. It's like an old man. They can't get up. Literally. No firepower, nothing. Like Ian Bill, I've got nothing left. That's what we've got up front. Because the way we get in that final third, every team knows what to do against us. They can sit back, camp, let us have the ball, and they know we're going to do, what do you call it, a horseshoe? Yeah, a horseshoe. We're going to ride those horses. That's what we be doing. When we're in that final third, we've got no creativity, no initiative, no running in off the ball, no underlapping runs. Every time it came into our wingers, we decided that we were going to cross it into the box. No cutbacks, no imagination. And it just petered out every time. It was too easy. They just flooded the box. They were like, yeah, cross it. Yeah, you stay outside. You stay out wide. When we're in the midfield, do we want to pass it forwards? No. It was the first time I saw Ange lose his rag. Yeah? Lose his rag. And I feel like, I'm not gonna like me after this one, but the pressure looks like he's getting to him.
Maybe a bit, because, you know, for all the goodwill he's had, and fair enough, you know, a lot of the football this season has been good. It's 3 losses on the trot. We're entering, you know, this is the point in the season where you should be showing some momentum for
business
next season.
Business end.
First of all, that, you know, if you wanted to show you had any sort of fighting chance to get top 4, you're supposed to be showing that kind of level. And also, you're supposed to be showing some sort of momentum going into next season. I remember, everyone talks about, you know, Klopp and Arteta's first season, but what I remember from their first seasons is they ended the season quite well and built some momentum going into the next season, and they built on that, and they showed what they're capable of. The worrying thing for me is we seem to be regressing, and quite badly as well. Today was another performance where the forward line had absolutely nothing in possession. They showed absolutely nothing when it came to having the ball to feet, breaking Chelsea down, had no quality about them whatsoever. The only sort of time they looked anywhere near threatening was when Brennan had a bit of space up against Cucurella to get across in the box, and more often than not, Petrovic was able to get there. We weren't able to fashion any sort of promising opportunities, and I can forgive how open we look at the back. I can forgive that if we're going to at least create a number of opportunities going the other way, and we're going to look like we're putting them under pressure, and we're going to be making the keeper make saves, and we're going to be opening them up, and we're going to be looking good. But we're not doing that at the moment, and that's got to be really concerning, because when you're not doing that and then you're completely open at the back, almost you're getting to the point where, like, where's this heading?
It's not looking good, bro. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, we're trying to attract players to the club, not turn them away. Do you know what I mean? I was trying to get G'd up for the summer window, thinking, yeah, we can be ambitious, get the right players in, because we do desperately need players to kind of help with our creativity issues. But if we're going to capitulate like this, it's not going to be a good brand for the club. If I'm looking at all the top 6 teams other than Villa. We're losing, we're dropping points, and performance-wise, we're not really doing much better either, because at the end of the day, people aren't going to look back and say, yeah, remember how Tottenham played in that second half, or remember how Tottenham played in that first. That doesn't matter. People are going to look back at the results, and this is a results business. The players need to turn up. Yes, they need accountability, but those set pieces, that defending is unforgivable.
And also based just going on what you're saying, like in terms of you know, going for targets and convincing players in the summer. They want to see a project, moving in the right direction. And that's not going to give the impression it is if we're on this kind of form.
Yeah.
That is the reality.
Yeah,
If you've been inconsistent, for 6 months or 3 months, and then you're putting in performances like this regularly, players are not going to look at that and think, their first 10 games they played really well. They're going to be saying, can I trust this? If Ange has some more bad form, is he going to be out? What is the atmosphere like at the moment? Why are they putting in these performances?
Yeah.
Can I trust that I can, if I'm a young player, can I trust that I can
develop
and bank on this project going in the right direction, where right now this is how they're performing? And that's a big issue. And everyone talks about, it doesn't really matter, top 4, top 5, Europa League. It doesn't, but this does matter. What we're showing at the moment does matter. And the way we're going, it's quite concerning. It's quite concerning. And the Newcastle, Fulham, and now this performance, these are not performances where I'm sitting here thinking we were unlucky. It could have gone either way. We played well, but it's just one of those days. Like, we got thoroughly outplayed in all these games now. And it's very concerning for me. And set pieces yet again, being our undoing.
Narratives will be strong now of, has Ange been found out? You will start to hear that now, especially heading into the game against Klopp. Klopp, second to last game at Anfield. They're going to want to, give him a nice send-off. We haven't won there in, I think it's the second worst record after, or maybe the third record. I don't know. What's the record? I just know we stink it out. Anytime we go there, no matter how we play, as well as we play, we just don't get a result there. And so I do fear the worst for Spurs and Ange Postecoglou in him trying to keep the atmosphere and the culture of the club in the right direction. Mr. Levy's going to be in trouble. I tell you that. He's going to be under real pressure. I'll be honest with you.
But do you know where Ange doesn't really get many excuses? You look at Newcastle's injuries. They had 11 players out.
Yep.
They're playing kids in midfield.
Yep.
They're playing Jacob Murphy at right back. They had no fit centre backs, and they end up winning 4-0. We didn't even lay a glove on them.
Yeah.
Chelsea today had 14 first team players out. They're playing Gilchrist at right back.
I said it as well.
They're bringing on kids with half an hour to go. They've got a hell of a lot of injuries. I know going to Stamford Bridge for Tottenham has historically been a very difficult fixture, but again, 14 injuries and we barely lay a glove on them. They're not really too many. And then look at our squad list. We've got a clean bill of health. You can argue, are they his players or whatever, but I'm sorry, I look at the players on the pitch. You've got Son there, you've got Chlesea there, you've got Johnson there, you've got Bentancur, you've got Sarr, Basuma, Kulusevski, Porro. These are not players where I look at that and think none of them are getting the Chelsea team. These aren't players where I'm thinking, no wonder we got battered. Look at that team. I'm like, look at that team, that should be able to compete. That should be able to put in a good performance, and especially against a team who got injuries, and especially against a team who are going to be tiring, and yet we put in that lackluster kind of display. And what worried me is in those last 20 minutes, as soon as we conceded that second, we showed a real lack of fight. It seemed like the players lost complete belief. Because I was actually looking at that second half, first half was really poor yet again.
Yeah.
But second half, we came out, we're like, okay, we're putting some fight. We looked like we were going to get the next goal. We're putting them under pressure. We created some openings, not saying chances, but openings. And then against the run of play, we give away some stupid fouls. They get the free kick. But again, you still got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can still get a goal.
Yeah, it's true.
And we seem to completely lose fight. We seem to do petulant things, giving away stupid fouls. We seem more interested in kicking our way off the pitch and trying to get back in the game. And once we did get in the final third, we were making stupid decisions, taking stupid shots with our defensive midfielders from 30 yards. Brian Hill making stupid crosses. And we seem to completely lose belief.
The thing for me, Sim, was, as Spurs fans, we are optimistic. You want to back your club. You want to be positive, and I'm for it. But I had a weird feeling when we kept saying, wait till we get our starting 11 back. Mm-hmm. We keep making excuses. Are the excuses running out? And we have to look ourselves in the mirror. I have to have honest, hard conversations with ourselves, because the 11 came back. The 11 came back and we were fully fit. Did anything change? No, it didn't change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Set pieces. We've been talking about set pieces for a while now. Ange dismissed it. He came out more than once and he dismissed it. Do you know what I mean? We've been undone again by set pieces. Do you know what I mean? And so more and more people are starting to lose belief. And now these fans, they have their own mind, not fans, sorry, the players have their own mind and own initiative. So it only takes one or two of them.
But do you know why they've lost belief? Or it's not lost belief. Do you know why it's fading? Do you know you see more backlash? It's not because we're conceding so many goals. It's because that football is not there anymore. We're not seeing those chances being created. We are struggling to create chances at the moment, clear-cut opportunities. And once you have that, and you have our defensive vulnerabilities, then it's going to be hard for people to see the pathway. And I can understand that. I actually think Ange today, when he made those subs, I thought we were looking good. And then he takes Johnson off the right, puts him on the left. And I thought actually bringing Maddison and Højbjerg and Bentancur on was good. They all did quite well.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he took Johnson off the right. Johnson was the only one causing damage in that final third. He took Johnson off the right.
I couldn't see
He put Son up front, and then he put Johnson on the left. And we just became completely ineffective again. So I didn't understand that. I think that sub hurt us. I think Maddison, Bentancur, Højbjerg did all right because we were winning the ball up half the pitch quite well. But then all of a sudden the front three became ineffective. He should have just kept the front three as it was and changed the midfield. That's all he had to do. So that was really, really frustrating. And look, I guess the likelihood is we'll probably end the season with 66 points if we can beat Burnley and Sheffield United.
Is that the same amount of points we had last season?
We finished last season on 60. So 6 points.
6 points better.
I mean, not incredible, but better still. That would probably see us fifth if we were to get 6 points.
Bro, I don't know.
But at the moment, this is the reality now. In terms of we're now in a battle for top 5.
Yeah.
We're now in a battle for 5th. That is the reality.
Yeah.
Because
Newcastle could easily get 5th.
Because Newcastle are only sorry, one sec. Newcastle right now, how many points? They are 7 points away from us. Man United is 6 points away from us. Right? There's no games in hand. Yeah. They're only 6 points behind with 4 games
What
to
about
go.
Chelsea? 9 points?
And Man United still got to play. They got to play. I guess they got Arsenal to play. Palace. Newcastle. Oh, they got to play Newcastle still. Newcastle.
Yeah,
okay,
Newcastle,
forget
yeah.
United. United are catching us. But Newcastle, look at their fixtures. Burnley away.
Yeah.
Brighton at home. Brighton are awful. Man United away and Brentford away. I mean, not easy games, but
Winnable games.
Easy in our games.
Yeah, winnable
Liverpool,
games.
Man City, and then Burnley, Sheffield United. Look, if we finish below 5th at this point, it'll be a bit of a disgrace, I would say. I think we all accept top 4 is not going to happen. And before the season, I think we all accepted that top 4 was going to be a bit of a stretch. So it's proven. What I would say is we got ourselves in a very good position to get top 4. And Villa had all these games clocking up, and they were faltering, and yet we've completely stumbled. And we should have probably gotten top 4 from where we were.
For me, it's more not really the position. I know the position's bad, and it's not good the way we're ending the season. But for me, it was more the performance element of it, because people at the start of it, they were like, we want attacking football, we want an identity, we want a style. That was the slogan. But when you're seeing your team not really stamp down that style of play, and that style of play is not coming to fruition, that's when the problems start to lie. That's when you start to question things, because you're like, well, where is this style of play? We're doing ultra attacking and we're conceding massive chances. Massive chances, bro. Let's not get it twisted. Let's be real for a sec.
And Ange has, a lot of excuses, stop-start season, changes.
We're running out of excuses.
And I get it.
We're running out of excuses.
The fact of the matter is, all these players have been back now since March. And the problem is the performance is getting worse.
Exactly.
That is the problem.
That's what I mean.
That is the problem.
Hit the nail on the head.
They're getting worse.
And the opposition's getting better.
We were better in that 5-game run when we had no Van de Ven and Romero. We were better in those games than we've been recently.
Yeah, we were. You're right.
We were much better.
We were.
We were creating chances. We were looking good.
Yeah, you're right.
The problem was we couldn't keep the back door shut. Now we can't even create a chance.
Yeah.
So I am a bit worried at the moment. Let's get through some super chats here. Joseph Vukovic says, over the last 4 seasons, we've been shite at the business end of the season. Jokes. Well, last season, the season was over anyway. Season before that, we actually were quite good at the business end because we got top 4 under Conte. Season before that, under Mourinho, you're probably right. Season before that, under Mourinho again, and we were again not fighting for anything.
Yeah.
Season before that, under Poch, we were also terrible. We scraped top 4 when we won that Champions League season. So you're right. Our end of seasons have been really bad for a while now. Kaylee Davis says, we need an overhaul of the squad for the next season. Forwards are dodgy. The midfield is worse. We don't deserve to be in Europe as we stand today. The problem I have with that, as much as I understand we need serious investment, how many midfielders are we selling apart from Højbjerg? Who are we selling? Are we selling Bissouma? Are we selling Bentancur? Are we selling Sarr? Are we selling Maddison? Are we selling Kulusevski? Who are we selling up front? Apart from let's say Werner doesn't come back, are we selling Johnson? Are we selling Son? Are we selling Richarlison? Are we selling obviously Gil will probably go. Again, are we selling Decky? Like, I don't know how many of these players are going to go. Like, there's a lot of them are going to be here next season. A lot of them. So they should be able to work with these players that are here.
I think the issue is and the worry is...
Is there going to be an overhaul? Is that what we need, an overhaul?
I think the worry is the mentality, because you don't, capitulate at the tail end of the season like this, and the performances, you don't kind of lose the fight. Why did it take Ange to go super mad on the sidelines for the players to respond and start doing a little bit more in that first half?
It seems to happen every game recently. He has to change things early. He has to make the half-time subs. He has to...
should he have done that? Should he have gone half-time and made the subs, do you reckon?
Maybe, but I'm saying, like, recently, every game, it's not been working, so he has to change things early, right? And first halves we're losing, so he changes things at half-time. Sometimes we turn around, sometimes we don't. Those Fulham and Newcastle games, completely horrible in the first half. Arsenal, I know it was the scoreline probably flattered Arsenal, but we were 3-0 down at half-time. Like, every game, we seem to be coming out and we seem to be struggling.
You said, in the watch-along, you said we need to go to a back 3. You said we need to go to a back 3, but...
I said I wouldn't be against it.
Ange doesn't adapt. He doesn't. Is this going to be a potential problem? You're calling for it. You called for the back 3. You go to a back 3. He's not going to change it. What do we do? Because it's now, when we were with Conte, we were saying...
Well, this season's over, so I guess from this point on, doesn't really matter what we do, because this season's
Well,
gone.
this is it as well. You could experiment. But again, that's not part of his philosophy, is it? And he wants to drum it into the players. And so far... It's not. It seems like whatever player we put on, it doesn't matter who we put in that position, who we put in that midfield, who we put up front. Rich has been up front. We've had Johnson on the right. We've had Johnson on the left. We've had Kulu on the right. We've had Kulu in midfield. We've had Maddison not start today. We've had Lo Celso on the bench, but come on the bench. Bentancur's come on. Højbjerg's come on. Bissouma's not started. He started today. Sarr started,
There's something wrong. There is something wrong at the moment.
Fullbacks inverting. Losing it in the position, because I thought Porro played poorly in the first half. I don't think he was doing too well. And MSM kept losing it as well. So you've got players in that role that are meant to be flooding the midfield. They're not even it'd be different if I saw those players and they were underlapping and they were running in behind and making, movement and one player's coming short. And you said it yourself, there's no fluidity. Where's the fluidity that we want to see?
We have played 7 games since beating Villa away 4-0. We've played 7 games. We've lost 4 of them. We've won 2. Those 2 wins being Luton at home and Forest at home. 2-1.
The lower teams.
And we were 1-0 down in both those games, weren't we? We were 1-0 down in the Luton game.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, we was.
It was 1-1 between Spurs and Forest going in.
That's right, you're right. Yeah.
The others, we've lost 3-0 to Fulham, 4-0 to Newcastle, 3-2 to Arsenal, and 2-0 to Chelsea. The form has completely fallen off a cliff since that Villa game. And that should have been when we're at that should have been like a good turning point. And for some reason, since that Villa game, it's been It's maybe I don't know if it's complacency. Did we think top four was wrapped up by at that point, and we just completely dropped off our level? But since that Villa game, we've been dreadful.
Look, I'll be honest with you. Son did not have a good game today. He did not have a good game.
Yeah, but no one
He did not. I know. I'm not trying to pin it on Son. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there that on the left in the first half,
he got dominated by bloody an 18-year-old.
Let's be real. Let's be honest. Let's have an honest conversation. I love Son. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of Son, but he did not affect from that side. He didn't, sometimes as a player, you need to put your foot and let yourself be known. He wasn't getting into the game. He was non-existent, in my opinion, on that left-hand side.
That's what I keep saying. I don't want Son on the left.
So, but then he went up front, and I don't know if it changed at all. And this is me being honest. Like, I like Son, and I do like Son in the 9 at times. But again, we've had him in a 9, and sometimes, the last couple games, or last few games, he's gone missing. I hate to say it, I'm stuttering here because it's uncomfortable for me to say it, bro. But it is what it is.
Here's a quote from Ange. She says, "We didn't have the mindset that I expect. That's on me. We were so far off it." And I'm all for, a painful rebuild. I am. I promise. I'm all for having struggles and everything. I'm just concerned about how much we have dropped off recently, and what is going on with this team, and why the players seem consistently off it. Why consistently Ange is forcing to change things early. And the main thing I'm concerned about is why we're really not creating too many clear-cut opportunities. Why is that not happening?
Listen,
and that is a big problem.
I want to ask a question. The question is, as a percentage, because what we do is we try to do this, we can't blame this person, we can't blame that person. And I'm not trying to scapegoat, by the way, I'm not. But in your opinion, and it's a hard question, and this is why I'm asking it, but who does the blame go with, in a percentage-wise? Is it majority Ange? And everyone takes a piece of the blame, I get it, but is it majority favouring Ange, or is it majority favour on the players? That's what I want to know. And you don't have to answer that, but I just feel like 3 games, back-to-back L's. We've got Liverpool coming up, potentially 4 L's on the road.
And then if we lose to City, that could be 5 losses in 6. If we don't lose to Burnley, that is.
Yes, I'm saying you're assuming we're going to beat Burnley, bro.
Well, at least not lose.
Well, yeah, exactly. So imagine that Burnley, they're fighting for survival. You know what I'm saying? There's, these teams, Sheffield United, they're going to be on the beach. They don't care. They've got nothing to play for. But sometimes when you've got nothing to play for, you know what I'm trying to say? You start playing better football. Burnley are fighting for something that's not going to be an easy game. Everyone assumes, we're at home. We do play better when we're at home, but I'm just throwing it out there. I myself look to myself. I think as myself as an optimistic fan, but I can't sit here and when the house is on fire, I'll be saying everything's going to be all right because I would seem slightly delusional.
There is a problem. There is clearly a problem. There's a problem. Since we beat Villa, there's been a big problem with this team. I don't know if it's the attitude. I don't know if it's if Ange. I don't know if he's got the right players or whatever. If that's what he's going to blame on, but there is a big problem with how we have been approaching games since that Villa game. Massive problem, and I can't put my finger on what exactly has changed because we've got more players back since then.
I think the players on the pitch, especially when they invert. I said it before. Their movement's terrible when they invert. I think the midfield do not pass that ball forward. They don't. They don't pass that ball forward. If you're passing that ball forward, you need to pass that ball with pace because the areas that we're trying to play into are congested, and that's the only way you get into the front 3. And if you're going to pass backwards and sideways and you want to take an extra touch, you're going to lose the ball. If you're not closing down those gaps, and you're diving in every time, you're going to give away a free kick. And that's what changes the momentum. And that makes the other team push up higher the pitch and swings the momentum in the other favour. When you sting it into your forward players, you need them to hold it up. When it goes to the wide players, you need them to be a bit smart and have a bit of creativity. or a bit of flair to beat their man. Do you know what I'm saying? Not always floating into the box. Sometimes fizz it across the box. So one time is it Saw that fizzed it across the box?
Yeah.
He fizzed it. It was almost an own goal. Why are we not doing that more often? Asking that difficult question.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
The problem for me is, why are we only doing that?
Yeah, well, but that's because...
That's also a problem.
Well, that's because we don't have enough creativity. We don't have enough movement off the ball, and we don't have no other intelligence. And certain times we're slowing it down in the final third. Why? We need to speed it up. Certain times in the transition, the forward pass is on.
But it does worry me, like, when we're going forward, it's like, unless we get it out wide and get a cross in, that's the only way we look dangerous.
And it's so easy to defend as well. When you slow it down, teams are happy for you to go out wide.
Especially when you don't have like a physical presence.
This ain't the noughties. This ain't the early 90s or late 90s where you've got a 4-4-2 and you've got a big striker, little striker, and you cross it into a crowded area into the box. One of the strikers being crouched heads it down and into Van der Vaart and he finishes it. We don't have that. You know what I'm saying? We play with a solo striker. If you're playing with a solo striker, they're in between two centre backs. With that, they need help from either the eights, or one of the wingers. Do you know what I'm saying? Inverting, coming in and helping out. And the one that's on the opposite side, they need to be able to supply those balls into the box. And at times, the fullback needs to overlap or underlap just to help with the creativity, so it isolates that winger and you have a 1v1 situation. That's what it's about. There's many more things that we haven't touched upon, but that's some of the basics that aren't happening and that need to happen ASAP. And this is on the mentality of the players. If you're not brave enough and you're not, because there's so many times we're on the ball and we don't want to do that ball forward, we don't want to do the ball over the top. Players are making runs sometimes and we're hesitating. And that hesitation, that's when you lose the game. You lose the ball. Sideways again, backwards again.
All right, look. That'll be it for the watch along though. We will be back with the post-match fan show in due course. But Ash, big up to you. Thanks for joining me on today's watch along.
Love, bro, every time.
I look forward to hearing what the fans have to say later on, but that is all we got time for on the watch along. So join us for the stream in about 20 minutes time. We'll see you all